There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Ooh, what's up and welcome into episode number 42 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you as always by Ryan Tyson, Mark Hall, Matt Gann, Patrick Kurtzberger. Today is Thursday, October 27th. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. We hit 1,100 subs that last week. Let's try to hit 1,200 this week. You guys rock, by the way. Shout out Okie Trades. He's a guy who comments on our videos all the time. I think I'm going to start shouting out more people who comment on our videos just to show them we appreciate them. We try to respond to a lot of them, but Okie Trades, we see you, bro. You don't like us all the time, but you still comment nonetheless.
No, so but he's honest. He's honest. You know, he lets us know.
I appreciate Okie Trades. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter, Program Guys with a Z, Instagram, Program Guys with a Z, Facebook page, Program Guys Podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, that's where you can find us, folks. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the whole darn thing. Bye week is over. Football is back. The Oklahoma Sooners take on Iowa State in Ames, Iowa, coming up on Saturday at 11 a.m. We'll get into that game and break that game down. But first off, how we doing, boys? Everybody enjoy your bye week. Enjoy a weekend without OU football.
It was a nice weekend. No stress at all.
Yeah.
You know, the highs aren't as high, but the lows really can't get as low.
No.
I thought I was going to do something with my Saturday, but I ended up doing the same thing, just watching different teams.
Yeah, so did I. I spent my entire day pretty much watching football, and then I watched the entirety of the OSU Texas game, which I didn't plan on doing. Ended up watching the whole thing. Matt Gann, how we doing, brother?
Doing great. Like Mark said, stress-free. I hosted a little party, a little get-together this weekend for my Dallas crew.
Spooky Bash.
Spooky bash. And let me tell you, it was just a little extra spooky this year. So
I
had a good time.
Oh, yeah.
I love that, man. All right. Let's get into some OU football news to get us started today. The details of Brent Venables' contract were announced. Not like recently, but from when we did our last show to now. So we have to at least kind of touch on it. I feel like, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like we have to at least mention it. So Brent Venables' 6-year, $43.5 million contract is fully guaranteed, and it includes several performance bonuses, $325,000 base salary, $600,000 a year retirement fund, $6.075 million a year for quote unquote personal services. I don't know what that means. $25K bonus for 7 wins, $400K bonus for a national title appearance, $25K a year if the team gets above a 3.0 grade point average, and $100,000 raise each year. Does this mean anything to anybody? I don't really get hyped up about contracts anymore because they're all insane.
I have a question for Mark as the financial tax person on this podcast. Is the personal services,
you'll never remember that.
is the personal services have to do anything with taxable income?
I don't think so.
I mean, I don't really know. That's probably where they're hiding a lot of this money, but it could also be they could source that money differently.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
You know, lots of different things at play here. To answer your question, Mason, I don't really care about this. This is the going rate for a guy who has turned down a job after a job after a job and chose Oklahoma. It's what you pay.
I agree. Matt,
and overall, this is overall this less than what we were paying Riley? Does anyone remember?
I think it is. I can't tell you for certain, but
okay.
Matt.
See, I kind of disagree a little bit. I think this is important. I think more not the money, because the money is what he needed to get paid, but more of the longevity of the contract, right? Because the reason we brought BV in was not only this year, Team 128, but to lead us into the SEC, which will be 3 years from now. So he'll have about 3 years in the SEC to really prove himself. Is this the guy that we brought in for that exact reason? That's what we want to see once we get there. So hopefully the contract seems like the right one, and we'll see what BV can do.
Pat, anything to add on that?
Definitely high for a first-year coach, but I think it's worth it. Totally worth it. He's right there with Lane Kiffin and Jimbo Fisher.
I think it's the golden rate. I think what Mark said kind of hits home for me. He's a proven coordinator who's done pretty much anything and everything you can do at his profession. It's what it's going to cost to get him. And to me, I just don't care, because at some point, what if he wins the national title? We're going to look at this and be like, this is a bargain. You know what I mean?
No, we're going to have to pay him more.
Oh yeah. Agreed. He's going to get the Nick Saban treatment and get a new contract every 2 years. You know what I mean?
That's the thing that I find so interesting about this contract, though. It's a $400K bonus for a national title appearance, but there's no bonus for a win. Interesting.
Hey,
there might be, and
you're going to get the same money from the media. You'll probably get the same bonus. Maybe not. Whatever.
Who knows? All right, let's get to some recruiting news, boys. The biggest news to come out of the recruiting world for OU, that is, I should say, 4-star wide receiver commit Anthony Evans, 2023 class. He's going to go ahead and take a visit to Georgia, and I can't confirm whether it's a official or unofficial. I haven't seen anything to tell me any differently, but I got a text from my buddy earlier today, and he texted me about this Anthony Evans thing, but I want to give credit where it's due. Soonerscoop.com. He sent me just kind of like a excerpt from a Soonerscoop.com article. And it says essentially that OU knew that this was coming, and they're not really surprised that he's going on this visit. He also Josh McCuistion doesn't get the feeling that they're going to walk away from Anthony because of this. They're in his recruitment and they're going to fight to keep him. He's a military kid who's moved around a lot as a kid and spent some time in Georgia. So Georgia is going to be an important school for him. So I think he wants to cross all of his T's, dot all of his I's before which I wish you would have done before he committed. But whatever you're doing with 17 and 18-year-old kids, I feel dirty every time we talk about stuff like this, because I don't want to badmouth a kid who's trying to make the most important decision of his life. But yeah, it sucks. I wish I wasn't as invested, but I am. And I don't really know. I don't know what to feel. I guess I obviously want him at OU, but if he's looking other places after he committed, why? Why'd you commit then? I just don't understand.
That's a great question for Patrick to answer. Patrick, go ahead. Tell us how you really feel.
No, I hate it. I don't know what I think. BV and the staff's in a tough situation. I've had a lot of time to reflect from my comments last week of saying we should just get.
Don't you dare back down.
I'm not backing down. You're right. We should rescind everyone's
Maybe back
offer
down on Twitter though.
Yeah, I'll back
the
down
Twitter
on
thing.
Yeah, I mean, BV had the opportunity last week to send a message and rescind Colton Vasek's offer. He didn't. This could be a result of that. I don't know, but I'm not okay with it. I don't know what's going on. He's in a tough situation, but in my opinion, we've got to stop this somehow.
I don't like it, but the more time goes on, the more Patrick looks right, and it's frustrating because he just made.
No, Patrick is not right yet. We have not lost either of these two people.
He's like, I'm right.
Yet. We haven't.
Okay. All right.
It hasn't happened.
The bigger problem is the pressure that we put on the entire situation by having a policy that says when you're committed, you can't go see anyone else. This wouldn't be an issue. I mean, it would be an issue. We wouldn't like it if we didn't have this commitment policy in place, but it's common for guys who are committed to go visit other schools. It's a part of the experience. And we wouldn't be worried about it if we didn't have this policy to the degree that we are. But because we have this artificial barrier in front of it, every time a guy breaks through that barrier, we're going to freak out and lose our minds. And Patrick specifically is going to throw a tantrum.
Well, but I wanted to say that excerpt that I read from Josh McCuistion, he also went on to say that this opens the door. OU is going to continue to look at other receivers because of this, because he is going to see somewhere else. Like Brent said in his press conferences early on in the year, if you commit and you decide you want to go take visits somewhere else, that means to OU that you're not committed and they have to go and look for other people in turn. So that's just what it is. And I'm fine with that. I would much rather Brent and this staff be proactive in that instead of just sitting back and hoping that they did a good enough job. I would much rather have contingency plans. Much rather.
But you can do that without making the kid feel bad. It's just a weird.
I know, but like this is what it is, though. You know, I mean, he laid it all out, and he lays it all out in front of you, and leaves it up to you to make a decision. And when you do, that he treats you like it while you're a kid. He is treating you like an adult and trying to treat you like a man that you're supposed to be when you could get to that program.
And Georgia's texting you like the mistress they want to be every single day, trying to get you to leave your marriage. So
Jackson Arnold went on, this is change the subject, but Jackson Arnold went on the Oklahoma Breakdown and said when OU was on that 3-game losing streak, he was getting texts and calls from every school like freaking vultures, man.
Crazy.
Like this is what they do. They don't sleep. They don't care. They're going to do,
and we do the same thing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And
nobody, I'm not saying
Peyton Bowen isn't getting hit up every single day. Come on now.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah. Let me preface that by saying that's not like me wagging my finger. Like everybody does that. That's not a bad thing.
Right.
And that's just the
just
name
the
of the
game. It's the game.
Matt, go ahead. I feel like I cut you off.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say it's a similar situation to Colton Bassick, right? Grew up in Austin.
Yeah.
Anthony Evans spent the majority of time in Georgia. So, I mean, when you're in those backyards of those big schools, how are you going to stop a kid from going to Georgia or from Colton Bassick going to an unofficial visit to Texas? I feel like it's going to be impossible to stop, even with this barrier that Mark talks about. It's just going to continue to happen. There's going to be more examples in the future of years down the road of all the classes and all the guys we're going after. So it doesn't really surprise me that he's going to take a unofficial official visit. I know Patrick's not happy about it, but that's just going to continue to happen. So
what's the response?
The response
that's for BB to find out.
Yeah, we're in a gray area, at least as fans.
The first year
we're in a gray area.
I mean,
I think the response is what Mason said, though, is like, okay, well, we're gonna look for others. We're not gonna stop doing
that's
this.
my thing. I don't think we're in a gray area. I think they're doing exactly what they said they're gonna do, and they're gonna start recruiting other receivers and try to fill. They're gonna try to get a roster spot for somebody. I mean, nothing's set until December.
You pulled that
is
offer?
there a possibility that?
No.
Well, then you're not doing anything you shouldn't be doing anyway.
Is there a possibility that someone comes in and we get another 4-star receiver, and
I don't know.
Do they pull an offer? I don't know. Like Mason is saying, no way. No, absolutely
I would think no way also. But
yeah, I would think no way also, but we don't know yet. It hasn't gotten to that point. We're bending right now against this policy, and it hasn't broken just yet. And I'm very interested to see this coaching staff's reaction when it breaks.
But this is where I'm at. Like, I think the policy is very clear. And if you break that policy, I don't think it's okay, well, we're done with you. I think he laid it out very clearly. If you do go on other visits after you commit, we are treating that as you are no longer committed. So you still have an offer and you can still come to Oklahoma, but we're making other plans because you are not 100% committed. So we're going to find somebody else who is, but you still have an offer. I think they're very clear about that. I don't think anybody's ever going to get an offer pulled, but they can definitely be like, we get to December or something and one 4-star wide receiver is locked in 100% and Anthony Evans is like still wishy-washy. And they're like, okay, well, we got him. Like he's 100%. This is our guy. Like that's the roster spot. You knew what it was.
I think this is such like a fascinating conversation. We could probably talk about it for a lot longer, I know we got to move forward, but even to Mark's point though, if we're never going to pull the offer, all the power is still within the player. Like the player still has all the power. Well,
and technically it should be. I mean, it's his life. It's his decision.
But all we've done is set this arbitrary, hey, don't do that. And then they do it.
We're trying to get the power.
There is no recourse except for, all right, we're going to give Cole Adams and Tulsa a call now.
Okay.
That's all we got.
Which we should be doing anyway, right? Like we should be doing that anyway. The consequence is something that we should be doing anyway, right? So there is no consequence for breaking this policy that we know of, that we've seen yet. So we made a big deal that this is our policy. and then people are starting to push against it. And I'm interested to see what happens when they push against it. So
cool. All right, let's move on to some other recruits just real quick. You made an offer.
I love when you can tell Mason's done with the segment.
I'm sorry.
I'm over this.
I feel like we just covered it. I feel like
it was really good. Okay. It was really good.
Okay. You made an offer to Aaron Flowers. He's a 4-star cornerback safety from Forney High in Mesquite. Shout out, Mark. 2024 prospect. Another 2024 guy, Tassili Akana, 4-star from Hawaii, 6'4", 215. That'd be really cool.
Hold on. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Brent Venables himself has been involved in recruiting Tassili Akana, and there's speculation that the heavy recruitment of Akana could be playing a role in Colton Vasek's wishy-washiness, because they're both 4-star ends, and we really have been in on Akana for a while now. Yeah. That is something to keep an eye on, because if we do lose Vasek, perhaps it's a prelude to this guy committing.
I think they're different years.
Well, you're right.
Vasek's 23.
No, you're right, but
okay.
I don't know. Yeah. You're right. You're right. I don't know why that would be the case, because they are a year different.
Yeah,
right.
But
he's just afraid of like a freshman coming in and taking his spot his sophomore year. I don't know.
I guess he should be expecting someone to come in every year.
Yeah,
should be.
Yeah, you have to. DeDante Scott, I hope I said his name right. He's an athlete cornerback from the DFW area. He's a class of 2024 as well, 6'1", 165. Another offer was made to a 3-star linebacker, Kingston Lopa from Sacramento, California, 6'4", 185. And then Kamar Archie, he's a 2025 prospect from Trenton, New Jersey, 6'1", 215-pound linebacker, I believe. So those are just some of the latest offers. I don't know a whole lot about it, so I'm not going to dive too deep into any of these guys, but just for those who are interested on the OU offer train, that's where we're at right now. Anybody anything to add?
We are so in the moment, or in the year or next year kind of lens at all times. And we offered someone from the class of 2025.
Right.
Yeah.
Like these coaches they're so much ahead of the game compared to us. They're so much better than we are at this.
The devil works hard, but Brent Venables works harder, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. It's wild to see. But yeah, Mark, you're 100% right. Just to think that they're seeing a guy who's a sophomore in high school right now, and they're like, that guy needs to come here. That's just crazy to me. That's just nuts. But all right.
Crazy.
Anybody else? Anything to add?
Yeah, just gonna all these offers from this past weekend or from the past week or so.
From the past week or so, yeah.
Okay, so I assume hey, at least they were working over the bye week. We assume they would be, so you can see the effort they put in. So that's what we want to see as Sooner fans. That even on bye weeks, they're still out there grinding.
Gotta love it. All right, let's move on. Iowa State, Oklahoma, OU on the road taking on the Cyclones. It's a tough place for OU to win. They've had a tough time there in recent years, but they're coming off a win against Kansas and a bye week. Hopefully they're ready to go against Iowa State. Iowa State 3-4, 0-4 in conference play. They haven't won a game in the Big 12 conference play yet. That's kind of shocking to me. I was not expecting that. Go ahead, Mark.
We just won our first against Kansas.
I know. Right. Yeah, I know.
And they have lost those 4 games by a total of 14 points. Total. So
they've all been close.
They've all been close. But those 4 losses, they lost to Baylor by 7, Kansas by 3, Kansas State by 1 in a 10-9 game. Jeez. And then 3 to Texas, 24-21. So what do we see from the OU offense against the Iowa State defense? I think their defense is pretty stout. I don't have the rankings in front of me, but I know that they allow 289 yards a game, 184 yards through the air, 105 on the ground. So they're a pretty stout defensive side.
Number 1 rushing defense in the Big 12. So I think their defense is actually pretty good. No stars, like star athletes, but they're a type of team that just like all of their players know how to play the position and they play as a team. And Iowa State historically has like been like that the past few years with Campbell as coach. just pretty consistent on the defensive side of the ball. And especially when you play in Ames, I mean, even if you look at the scores, they held Kansas State to 10. They held, Texas to 24, which
14
we
to
gave
Kansas.
49.
14 to
14
Kansas,
to Kansas. I mean, like their defense is pretty solid. So I am interested to see how our Dylan does against them. I'm interested to see if he can recreate what he did against Kansas, or if we are going to venture back into the dark days
This is
before Kansas.
This is the matchup of the game for me. So OU has to score points to win this game, and I think if they score less than 30, they don't got a shot. So I think if they score less than 40, honestly, they don't have a shot. So it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be the Dillon Gabriel show, because it's going to have to be, because like you said, there's stout defense running, they're a stout rushing defense. So you can't lean on Eric Gray as much as you probably want to. You're going to need Marvin Mims and those receivers to make some plays, and Dillon Gabriel is going to have to take some deep shots, I think, to try to hit them over the top, because I don't think you can nickel and dime these guys. I think you're going to have to make some big plays. So that's what I see. Patrick, Matt?
For me, name of the game is our offensive line. They're the key to this game. If they win their battles, we'll win this game. They have great pass rush. So the O-line, I'm looking for them to have an amazing game. The coaches continue to reiterate that they are the unit that gets better and better every game. So hopefully that continues.
Matt?
Yeah, Mason, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I think this is going to have to be a nickel and dime game, because Iowa State's been known for not giving up any big plays. They always going to play 3-down linemen, 5, 6, 7 guys in coverage at all times. So they're trying to prevent that deep ball, which is DG's been known for. But I think DG is going to have to be a little bit more patient. Like Patrick said, hopefully they can get enough or give DG enough time to find those guys in those zones, especially Marvin Mims and those guys. The running game, I just don't think is going to be there. Iowa State's pretty much stopped everyone all year on the last 3 games that they've played. It's going to be a very low-scoring game. I can't wait to hear everyone's predictions, but Iowa State's only giving up 15 points a game. So it's going to have to be a long, drawn-out, low-scoring game. But I think DG is going to have to be very patient when it comes to the offense.
Mark?
Last time we saw the Oklahoma Sooners play, Marvin Mims got 9 catches on infinity targets. I expect us to play a little bit of that same ball game. I do think we're going to hit it off of more play action ball, though. I think we will try to lean on Eric Gray coming out of a bye week. His body's a little fresher. You would think he can provide something. And between him, Javonte, Marcus, whatever it is, that's what Jeff Lebby wants to do anyway. That said, the way that you're going to score points is breaking those big plays, launching an explosive pass to Marvin Mims, Gavin Freeman, Jaleel Farouk, whatever it is. I think that's going to be what really gets us there. Watch for Dillon Gabriel to not overthrow all of those deep balls, because if he doesn't, I think there will be opportunities for our wide receivers.
The OU offense cannot turn the ball over. They cannot afford to turn the ball over. They just can't. Because if you're going to give Iowa State an extra possession to do something, that just hurts you down the line. I don't think Iowa State's offense, and this is how I guess we can transition to Iowa State's offense against OU's defense, but I just don't think Iowa State's offense can get going that much for you to give them an extra chance to get going with a turnover. You have to be clean on the offensive side of the ball, because Iowa State, 22.9 points per game they're averaging. That's low in Big 12 standards. Especially this season. OU has to be stout defensively, and I don't know how they're going to be, because I don't know what to expect. I have no idea what this defense is going to do. I don't know what kind of schemes are going to be drawn up. There's a lot of question marks, and I'm sorry to the listeners, I don't know how to answer, because it's at this point, it's just show me. It's just show me that you're getting better every week. Because last week they did, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, even though they allowed 42 points to Kansas, for whatever reason, that felt like a comfortable 42 points. Maybe because you score 55. I don't know. But it just felt way more comfortable. 52 points. Thank you.
Well, I think also like just going back to the Kansas game real quick, like 21 of those points I think were off turnovers for Kansas. Like, so to your point, we can't turn over the ball. We can't turn over the ball. But I will say, if we're flipping over to, Iowa State's offense, genuinely, I don't think that they're very explosive. They're low scoring. They play off their defense. They slow down the game. And I mean, their best player is probably Xavier Hutchinson in wide receiver position.
He's got to be.
Like he's great, but he's not like up to the standards of like some of the talent that we've already played with Texas and
he's
Deckers.
Awesome. I think he might be as good.
Bro, he has more than
great.
Double the catches that Marvin Mims has.
He's a first
crazy.
round pick.
He's
a first round
Look, guys,
he's great, Ryan.
He's great. But I'm talking about like worthy, and I'm talking about like athletics, like athletes and stuff like that. That in my mind,
he's up there.
He's better.
Okay, all right.
We'll see.
You're entitled to your opinion.
Like, this is my opinion. Right. I saw him drop that pass against Texas, and I was like, nope.
All right, I get it.
No, I'm just kidding. I think yes, he is their best player. But I don't know who else they have. Like they don't have anyone as nearly as explosive. I think Deckers is a good quarterback, and he can be a mobile quarterback, but he's not as good as Duggan that we've played.
He's thrown a lot of picks. He's thrown 7 picks in 7 games. That's not diluting your point. I'm just adding on to yours. It's kind of shocking. He's thrown 7 picks in 7 games. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to expect.
I thought you were about to jump in. My bad.
No, I wasn't. But that's okay. I don't know what to expect from the defense. Kind of like you said, I think we've seen different things at different times from the team. 3 games we'll run 3 down linemen. The next 4 will run 4 down linemen. We're switching it up, some partially because there's injuries all over the place on the defense. I would love to get Billy Bowman back, but Brent Venables this week did not sound like that was likely. In his stead, I would love to see Robert Spears-Jennings really get some run. We've seen him into the game. We've seen him make some plays. Why not, right? Put him in there. See what he can do. Mason Thomas, JK7. Let's get some of these guys some playing time because they gotta build towards something. And this could be the start of building towards a great run at the end of the season.
Matt.
I am very optimistic that the bye week has solved all of our defensive problems and we are going to have it all figured out. And no one's going to run around like a chicken with their head cut off. But in all seriousness, we've given up over 40 points the last 4 games. Everyone else is keeping them around 24, 25 points. I hope our defense keeps them under 30.
I think if you keep them under 30, you win the game. And I think you win comfortably if you do that. That's what I think. Matt.
Battle of the left-handed quarterbacks. I mean, when was the last time we saw 2 quarterbacks, both left-handed, playing?
I hope you have the answer to that.
I wish I did. Man, I wish I did. But I can't let you take that away from me, Patrick. Anyways, going to be great. First round draft pick, Xavier Hutchinson. I mean, this guy's 6'3", 205. Got speed, got hands. He's got to be the one guy we're going to stop. I'm not sure if we have a quarterback or safety, unless maybe Billy Bowman's going to track him all game. But he is just electric.
Billy's not playing.
Perfect. Well, even better for our defense covering. They're gonna have to double him because he's the only guy. I mean, he's got double the catches of Marvin Mims, 67 catches, 758, and 5 tutties. So he's the guy that we're gonna have to stop.
He has 5 touchdowns. I want to touch on this because I will not stop this train. He doesn't have a single touchdown against a Big 12 team this year. All his touchdowns are coming from the first 3 games. I know he's great. I understand he's great.
Does Marvin Mims have a Big 12 touchdown? Hold on, let's go through.
Didn't he get one against Kansas?
I thought he got.
No, he didn't.
He's got a few.
He did not get one against Kansas. I've got that game up now.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Look, I'm saying he's good. I'm sorry to interrupt, Gan. I'm sorry.
Go
I will
ahead,
die
Gan.
on this hill.
You mean you're saying he's bad?
I'm saying he's good. I'm just saying he's not like.
This is a fraud watch from Ryan Tyson.
This is a fraud
watch.
He's probably going to have like
watch.
3 touchdowns against us, and everyone's going to like throw tomatoes at me.
Yeah, let's get back to the game. Listen, this isn't the Iowa State of old. They don't have Brees Hall. They don't have Brock Purdy. It's Deckers and it's Xavier Hutchinson. They're averaging only 100 yards on the ground, which I think will probably change against OU's horrible Big 12 defense.
Yep.
So if we can stop the run, if we can limit Xavier Hutchinson's on the big explosive plays, like Mason talked about, Deckers is known for turning over the ball. We've got to take advantage. We've got to create some turnovers on defense to get more opportunities for offense because, again, this is going to be a low-scoring game, and we got to see who can take advantage of those opportunities. It'll be interesting to see after the bye week what adjustments we've made.
All right, boys, let's combine our what we want to see with your prediction at the end of what you want to see. Okay. So we'll talk about what you want to see from this game and comment down below while you're watching with us. Let us know what you want to see from this game, what you make of the offense versus defense on both sides of the ball for both of these teams. But I'll go ahead and get started. I got to see pressure. If I see Deckers just sit back there with nobody in his face all night, like Billy Bean did or not Billy Bean, but freaking whatever his name is.
Jason Bean.
Yeah. If OU does the same thing that they did in the Kansas game and just let him sit back there all game, I'm going to go crazy. Dial up some blitzes, get back there and make him decide where to throw the ball in a hurry. Don't let him sit back there and go through his reads. Make him get out of the pocket. Make him decide what he's got to do on the run on the fly. That's the way that you get this defense back to playing more comfortable ball, because when you don't have to rely on thinking of all these things, all you got to do is worry about go getting the quarterback. It makes the game a whole lot easier, a whole lot faster in my eyes. I think the defense plays a lot better when they play faster for whatever reason. I just think they do. So with that, I think I want OU to win, but I just, man, I think it's Iowa State 38-35.
Boo.
All right.
You think they're going to score that many points?
I'm so glad you're realistic here.
These week to week are so fun. Because remember when me and Patrick said we're losing to Texas and y'all lost your minds?
Well, because it was the Texas game. You can't be down in the dumps with that game. You got to be ready to fire up. I'm being more realistic now.
All right. I'm going to go the other way then, because I wrote down this number, so I'm not making this up. I really do think that the bye week could have allowed our defense to figure it out. And our offense looked incredible last game, in my opinion. We were very dynamic. Jeff Lebby showed who Jeff Lebby is. He's had a rest. Dylan's had a rest. I think we win 34-20.
Okay.
That's actually reasonable, Patrick. That's your
Yeah.
most reasonable.
Okay.
So far.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I think we're going to come away with a victory here. I think I don't think their offense is as explosive. I don't know how our defense is going to play. My biggest worry about this game is, if we are able to cover a mobile quarterback. And, he's not as mobile as what we've seen. But again, any kind of mobility in a quarterback has sometimes throttled our defense. So I am going to go with OU 24, Iowa State 14.
Y'all are all right. Mark, what do you got?
I hit on this with the defense. I want to see some of the talented young players that we know are waiting in the wings. Feed me R. Mason Thomas, JK7, Robert Fears Jennings. Hell, Kip Lewis looks good against Texas. If we get late in the game, throw him in. I don't care. I mean, in the right circumstances, right? But let Gavin Freeman play. Continue to feed Javonte Barnes. Daniel Parker hasn't shown us that much. Show me a freshman tight end. Let's see what these guys have a little bit. See if anyone can be a key cog in the stretch run here. All of that said, sort of crossing my fingers. Score prediction 31-21 Oklahoma.
Bang. Go ahead, Matt.
Bang. Mark, great prediction, my friend.
Thanks,
Great
King.
thing. I love to see it.
My
number one thing, I just talked about it just a minute ago. It's whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win this football game. I think all game long, it's going to be the battle of field position. Defenses are going to get multiple stops on both ends. Again, going to be a low-scoring game, I think. I am going same score as last week for the Texas-Iowa State game. I'm going to go OU 24, Iowa State 21. I think it'll be a field goal within a field goal game. That's what I'm going to go with.
Okay, that's what we're looking for,
Mason,
and that's our picks. I'm the only one who thinks or who picked OU to lose. I just man, I just don't feel good. Okay.
I feel like a week ago Mason was like, "Yeah, we're
Mason
going
so
undefeated the rest of the way."
Yeah,
going into
I had a week to like not stress about OU and think about it and really just take a step back and be like, are these guys really it? Like, are they it? Because I mean, I hope they start playing young dudes. Because if they play young dudes, I'll feel a lot better. I swear to God, I will. I will think so much more differently about this team if young guys start playing. But the dudes who are in there now, and I've seen what they are, and they ain't good, and that's why I don't feel good. So that's why I picked what I picked. Go ahead, Ryan.
I think something that Brent Venables said this week is related here. He basically said the same thing we said last week. We can win every single one of these games and we can lose every single one of these games. Like it's going to be like kind of a toss up moving forward, and we have to be okay with that. And I think as fans, we have to have that expectation in our head because
that's one of those places where they have to pick and choose their spot with letting the young guys in the game. Because if you're not 100% sure that Gavin Freeman knows the route on a third down, Gavin Freeman can't be in the game on that third down. So it to some degree, you have to go with your veterans, but maybe to a larger degree, you don't. So we'll see.
Okay. Let us know down below your score prediction and what you want to see from the game on Saturday. Remember, 11 a.m. kickoff in Ames, Iowa. All right, let's get to some college football pick'em from our pick'em page. Updated scores. M. Morris, 94 at the top of the leaderboard in the 99.5 percentile, 47-32 overall. Mark in second, 45-33 overall.
Bang! I took second.
What happened to Frat Loops?
Frat Loops in second. He's tied with Mark.
No, he's one behind me.
Well, you're tied for second in terms of points, but like you're ahead. Because you have one less loss.
I missed that one game, so yes. I have one less loss.
Yes, exactly.
That is a tie for this.
Yeah, so that's where we're at right now. Let's go ahead and pick some games, some of the games that we have on here. Let's start with Kentucky at Tennessee. Number 19, Kentucky at Tennessee. I'm trying to get the spread in front of me. There it is. Tennessee, 11.5 point favorite at home in Knoxville. Patrick, we'll start with you.
Tennessee's just playing so good. They're always on. At some point, there has to be some kind of like mental lapse. I would be more worried about this game if it was in Kentucky. It's at home in Knoxville. I don't think they cover this one.
Okay. But you think they win?
Oh, they're definitely going to win. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Mark.
Hendon Hooker is older than like 7 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Did y'all know that?
No.
It is.
I
saw a tweet like he's older than Mac Jones. He's obviously older than Bailey Zappi. There's like a number of them. It's super funny. Anyway, this line has already moved a point in Tennessee's direction. So I'm going to take Tennessee at 11.5 just because the market says I should.
Okay. Matt.
Yeah, they got the black unis out. They look sick. I'm sure Patrick's a big fan. I don't know if you guys are.
Game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be extra spooky. So I'm a big fan, and I think Tennessee is going to absolutely throttle Kentucky. So I will take all the points for Tennessee to cover on this one.
All right, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm going to take Tennessee to cover. I just think they're better, and they're playing explosive right now, and they're at home.
I feel like this is a game that the old Tennessee would lose. And because of that, I'm taking Kentucky to cover, but Tennessee to win. I don't think they're the old Tennessee, but I still think they're going to try to revert back to some BS that they used to be and keep Kentucky in the game for longer than they should be. And I think Tennessee will score a late touchdown to win by like 10, which means Kentucky covers.
Yep.
So,
fun fact real quick, could be a trap game because they got to go at Georgia next week. So they could be already thinking about that primetime game. So I still think it's going to be a blowout, but yeah, just something to think about.
Man, an SEC schedule is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
It's going to be so great.
There's like no week off like at all. It's brutal.
Well, there is because they all play a crap team in the middle of the season, which I think is crap.
That was last week for Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to play like Rainbow State. I'm so excited.
I know. It's going to be lit. All right. Number 2, Ohio State on the road at number 13, Penn State. Penn State, a 14.5-point underdog at home. Oof. I think that's the big noon kickoff game, so I don't think it's under the lights. Yeah, it's on Fox, so it's the big noon game. So day game in Happy Valley. I'll get us started. Luke Hetrick, I love you, brother. I know you're listening. You're Penn State and Nittany Lions, man. He's talked to me all year long about how not confident he is in them, and it makes me not confident in them to cover this spread. I want them to so bad, and I want them to win just because I think it'd be fun for chaos in the Big Ten. It always is, but I think Ohio State they just score too many points. I just really think they do, and that's all it comes down to for me. Is I think Ohio State can score 55. Can you keep up? And I just don't think they can. So give me Ohio State to cover minus 14.5.
I definitely want Penn State to win, but Ohio State is 100% success rate in the red zone, and they're probably just going to go and destroy them.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's an unbelievable statistic.
It's not.
Oh, are we talking field goals too? Does that count?
I think so.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not just talking shots. Okay.
Yeah.
Ignore me.
We don't have a stat like that, so
yeah,
it's still pretty
it's
good.
Still impressive. It's still impressive. But
we're 1 for 1 on fake field goals that don't end in scoring drives.
Yeah, that's brutal. Matt, who you got?
Stopped on 4th down.
Yeah, thanks, Mason. I will take Ohio State. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. I'm sure they're going to do a whiteout or something. It might be a little bit of a sleepy game at 11 o'clock in the morning, but I think C.J. Stroud and that offense will just completely overwhelm Penn State. So, and the last couple of weeks, I've picked Ohio State in the pick 'em to cover, even when they've had these large spreads of 20 plus. It's currently 50.5. I would be more than happy to take Ohio State covering the points, even at Penn State.
Okay. Who's next?
Me. I think it's just me left. Yeah, it's going to be Ohio State for me. Oh, sorry, Ryan. I think it's going to be Ohio State for me. I met a Penn State fan OU Texas weekend, and I asked him, about the team and all of that stuff. And we got to the topic of Sean Clifford, who is still there.
Yeah.
And none of them like him.
No one.
And no one trusts him. He's the anti-Baker Mayfield. It's tough, man. How can I take that against Ohio State's offense? I can't. Ohio State to cover 14.5.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say the same thing as everyone else. Ohio State to cover. They've looked impressive all year. I don't think this is the team to take them down. And I think they're going to easily win this game. So I'm going to have Ohio State to cover.
I think Penn State's beat them once in like the last 10 tries.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Last 10 years, it's been total domination by Ohio State.
It's rough. But all right, that's that. Moving on. Last game we're going to pick. Number 9, Oklahoma State on the road at number 22, Kansas State. Kansas State, 1.5-point underdog at home. Shout out to Greg and Matt Brungart. EMAW, every man's a Wildcat, especially on Saturdays against Oklahoma State. Kansas State to cover, Kansas State to win outright. The Cats get it done. I just don't think I'm not impressed by Oklahoma State, and I think this is an easy game to lose on the road. I think it's just an easy game, especially after a 17-point comeback win at homecoming against Texas last week. You're riding high in a game you definitely shouldn't have won. Shout out Quinn Ewers just giving him a game. But no, I think Kansas State's got it. I don't even know if Adrian Martinez is going to play. I don't even care. Give me Kansas State. I think they cover, think they win outright. There we go.
Do we know Kansas State's quarterback situation?
Adrian Martinez left the game last week. Don't know if he's going to play this week.
Well, and then their backup left the game.
So, I saw something earlier that said
back.
If Adrian can't play, Will Howard will be ready.
Okay, he will be ready. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you say the line was on this, Mace?
1.5. OSU a favorite.
This is hard. I think I'm going to take OSU. I don't love it. I don't love the pick, but I feel like they have been consistent this year. And even as bad as Quinn Ewers was in that second half of that game against Texas, I think it's impressive that they were able to come back against that team, especially that team that we got dominated against. So, I think OSU is going to win this game, and I think they'll cover too.
Kleiman is hopeful that Adrian Martinez will play. He didn't practice yesterday, but Kleiman is hopeful that he will be able to play and lead them out. He's quoted as saying he doesn't know who's going to play quarterback on Saturday. So that's where we're at with that.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Sorry, Patrick. I didn't mean to interrupt you, buddy. I'm just going to make it really simple. I typically, when I don't know a whole lot, which I guess we've watched these two teams play quite a bit, I'm always going to take the better quarterback. I think that's Spencer Sanders. I think he showed that last week in the Texas game. He's proven it all year. I think this is a pretty easy win for the Cowboys, especially if Adrian Martinez doesn't play.
Oklahoma State, interesting close games. If the spread was like 4.5, then maybe I'd take Kansas State here, but I'm going to go ahead and say Oklahoma State covers.
Okay. Do we have one more?
Yeah, it's me. This real lifeline has moved to Kansas State favored by 1.5 points.
Wow.
So, yeah, for whatever reason,
happened?
I don't know, but for whatever reason, Vegas is on Mason's side here. They don't even think it's a contest, or they do, right? But it's flipped 3 points. So that original line was not right. Given that that's the case, I'll take Kansas State and play the number again.
I love how we all pick out of just like how we're feeling, and then Mark's like, well, the experts in Vegas are actually showing me a shift in the analytics, and therefore,
hey, you want to know something? That's why Mark is second in the pick'em.
Right.
100%.
A little bit of
He
research.
plays the number. He plays the number. That's what he
Play
does.
the number.
I play my feelings.
You bet the number, not the team. Bet the number, not the team. That's how
getting
you
it.
do it. Let us know down below your picks. And if you're in our pick'em page, let us know where you're sitting right now. Okay, circle the wagons time. Matt Gann. I want to circle him, brother.
Yeah,
Get
and
us
so
going.
do I. So do
Get me
I.
hyped.
I mean, we didn't do it last week, right? So I want to make sure to catch up on some great OU other programs that have currently been playing so far. So got to hit on the OU women's volleyball, who's currently playing the Lady Bears in Norman in McCaslin Fieldhouse tonight. I have not seen the updated score, so not sure if someone can check on that for me, but they are currently playing. They're number 13, but they have lost the last few Big 12 match plays. Going back to last week, they lost to Iowa State 3-1, Kansas State 3-2, and TCU 3-1. So the last 3 games for the Sooners have not been great. Their overall record at this point, 11-9, but only 1-7 in conference play so far. So good start to the year, not so great during the Big 12 play. So again, they're playing Baylor tonight. I'm sure that game is almost over at this point, and then they go to the Jayhawks and play the girls there. OU's men's golf recently last week played in Big 12 match play themselves. They were sweeping people. They were absolutely dominating the Big 12 teams, swept Kansas 5-0, beat West Virginia 5-1, beat Baylor, OSU both 6-0. And then they got to the finals against one of the top teams, Texas Tech in the country, ended up losing 3-2. So just kind of a similar storyline to last year. They just continue to kind of sweep for those preliminary rounds. And once we get into that semifinal final, just come up a little bit short, but definitely a better showing this tournament and Big 12 match play versus the last couple tournaments that the Sooners have been in. They head to Hawaii this week for another tournament, which, hey, you can't complain. You get to go to Hawaii for a trip. Who's complaining there, right? Maybe they'll visit the 4-star edge that Mark's very high on. That will also be in the 2023 class, right, Mark?
Tusuli Kana.
Yeah. Mark, always got to take a stab at you, my friend. So that is OU's.
It's weird how I'm never mean to Matt, and then he just does that.
Is it a rivalry? Never mind.
If it's only one-sided, that's right.
If Patrick, I'm just getting bullied.
I love you, Mark. Anyways, heading to Hawaii. Then OU women's soccer. Last couple games they've played, beat TCU 2-1, lost to West Virginia 3-2 in a close one. Play Texas this week, and then next week we'll head to the Big 12 tourney, which is a whole week fiasco. I think they do kind of a round-robin tournament, so that'll be interesting to see. But good luck to all of the programs coming up. I know a lot of other programs are starting to start softball, baseball, and some other teams. So hopefully we'll get some more updates here in the future. So appreciate you guys sticking around for a little Circle the Wagons segment. Yes, Patrick, go ahead.
One more thing on OU Golf. They received $5 million donation to their facility that will include new locker rooms, indoor putting laboratory, and 6 hitting bays.
Yeah, already super nice.
SEC, baby.
Gotta get ready for the SEC. That's absolutely right.
I've never gotten to play Jimmy Austin, but I really want to. It
super
looks
nice.
Cool
super
course.
nice.
So I'd like to play. Thank you, Matt, for circling those wagons. All right, boys. PGP MVP of the week time. Love when you guys follow along with us on YouTube. To comment down below who your PGP of the MVP of the week is. Let us know down below in the comments who yours is while we tell you ours. I will start with Ryan. Ryan, what do you got?
I took something out of Mark's playbook and I went least valuable player this week. And mine is like a little serious. So we can start here and then get a little happier as we go in.
Okay.
My
Thanks
least
for the
valuable
preface.
player. Yeah, I'm making sure everybody knows. My least valuable player this week is Kanye West. Kanye West has said some pretty awful things online. Very anti-Semitic language that is just that I think everyone on this podcast obviously does not approve of and is very against, and he's feeling the fallout of that. So some of the brands that have dropped him in the past 2 days, I just need to go through this list because it's incredible. Adidas, Balenciaga, CAA, which is a major talent agency, Gap, JP Morgan Chase, MRC, social media, Twitter and Instagram blocked his accounts. TJ Maxx, Foot Locker, Peloton has said they won't be playing his music anymore. Just some like really, really radical moves by these businesses that are cutting off all ties with this person. I just saw that he showed up to this Skechers headquarters unannounced, and the security pulled him away from it. So Kanye West historically has been one of my favorite artists and favorite musicians. Everyone on this podcast can say that. And I know that he's dealt with a lot of mental health issues, and I hope he's getting treatment for that. But this stuff just can't be acceptable to be talked about in public like this. And I really applaud all of these companies for taking a stand against it. So least valuable player this week, Kanye West.
Yeah, the daring of Adidas to drop him for saying anti-Semitic things is just a wild move. Like all your chips on the table and you lost like big time. That was weird. That was a weird thing.
It's Adidas is going to be fine.
Yeah.
They run Europe.
Yeah. I didn't even know they were based in Germany. I had no idea.
Of course.
Yeah. Mark, go ahead. You were about to say something?
No, it was nothing.
Okay, cool. That's our.
We can move past the least valuable player now, guys. Bring it
Yeah.
back up.
All right, so I'll go next. My MVP of the week is Bill Belichick. You know why? Because for 20 plus years, he's ruined my life. He has made my life a living hell being a Dolphins fan because he always had Tom Brady. And now Tom's gone. And I was told that Mac Jones was the new Tom Brady. He was God's gift to football. Mac Jones was benched on Monday Night Football against the Chicago Bears, the hapless Chicago Bears. They lost. Billy Zappi came in. 2 drives, looked good. All of New England's like, this is the situation. He's the new Brady because actually Mac is Drew Bledsoe. So now Billy Zappi is Tom. And no, Billy Zappi sucks too. So Bill Belichick is my MVP for not knowing what the hell he's doing at quarterback and making the Patriots an absolute joke. And it makes me happy because they don't know. I was told for a whole offseason that Tua Tagovailoa was worse than Mac Jones.
Go off, King.
And Mac Jones can't even play a full football game without getting his butt pulled now. And people murdered Tua Tagovailoa his rookie year for getting pulled. Now Mac is a 2-year starter getting pulled. He's a joke. And so are the Patriots. Bill Belichick, you're my MVP.
I'm happy for you, Mason.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Someone else go.
I'll go next. I've got the one, the only, Matthew Gann. Matthew Gann had the unfortunate pleasure of not only playing me in one fantasy football league this week, but 2 fantasy football leagues. And you all know how good I am at fantasy football. I beat Matt, if you combine the scores, 248 to 167. That is 81 points, people. So if you're ever, curious who to listen to on this podcast about football, it's me.
I love it.
Let's give some context. I think out of the 2 leagues I had, and this might have been the worst league or the worst week for injuries in the NFL.
I changed out names. 3 starters to beat you.
Yeah, I had, I think, 5 people that got hurt across the 2 leagues. So let's just slow your roll there a little bit. All right, I'll go next.
Yeah, you go ahead.
We didn't really make too much of a deal at the very top of the show. I think it's a big deal, but my MVP is Joe C. and the OU athletic department for getting BV to secure the bag and secure that contract because he is the guy. Yeah, go ahead, Mark. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's just there's only one.
There's only one. There's a reason why Joe C is known for the best athletic director in the entire nation. This is what you want to see. Secure the guy that is not just going to be here for 1 year, but multiple years down the road and can lead a program. OU athletic department, Joe C, with always the fedora or the hat that he wears. We'd love to see it. MVP of the week.
Love it. Mark, round us out, brother.
Yeah, my MVP is going to be Patrick for the fantasy thing.
Thank you. I literally had 4 people hurt in one league that I played him in.
We're not doing this. All right. Thank you for
the
watching.
Rivalry.
Thank you for watching this week's episode. Be sure to join us on Sunday. We're going to have our post-game pod come out after the OU and Iowa State game. Remember, that's an 11 a.m. kick. I believe it's on ESPN or ABC or one of those two. I'm not really sure. But you can find us on YouTube for that post-game, as well as on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, however you get your podcast. Episode 42 is a wrap. Please follow us on Twitter, Program Guys with a Z, Instagram, Program Guys with a Z. You can find us on our Facebook page, Program Guys Podcast. However you get your podcast, that's where you can find us. Be sure to like, subscribe. Remember, guys, trying to hit 1,200 subs on YouTube by the end of this week. It'll be lit. We'd love to have you. And it costs you nothing. Just click down below on the video you're watching right now. It's totally free.
We love free things.
Yeah. It's all great. Appreciate you. And one more time, shout out Okie Trades. Appreciate you. You're our commenter of the week. Shout out to Okie Trades.
If you're still here, Okie Trades, please leave a comment so we know how long you're listening.
Yeah, that'd be
Trades
great.
Loves Patrick. So
he does.
It's fine.
Yeah, we're both.
All right. Anybody else? Anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, go Astros.
Go Astros.
Go Stros.
Go Stros. Go ahead and get to the Phillies. All right, Pat, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.